Rendoshi Takamoto shared a tweet thread with me that blew my mind. I was thinking, you know, render, yeah, $10, $20. I now think render can go to $100. Right? There was some information shared with me that I just didn't know. It blew my mind. And I want to share the information with you because I think it's powerful. I think it's fun. And we're going to go through these threads. Okay. So check us out. We got 10 times the render network was used to blow your mind. Brains all over the wall. I love that. We're going to go 10 cool vertical use cases for render, 10 brands connected to render that'll also blow your mind. So there's going to be a lot of brains on the floor. 10 people affiliated with render that will impress you so much that your brain will explode. Man, I'm just not gonna have a brain after this. 10 insanely bullish things on the render roadmap. And we're gonna finish it off with this week. Render Foundation hosted an AMA with Antbit.io team. And we're gonna have a little bit of an update on what this was. I mean, this was some time ago, 6 months ago, but let's get into this thread. And I just wanna thank Rendoshi1 here. And I'm gonna post the link to this thread down below so you can share this with people that you know. This person did a really cool job. I did ask their permission to share this, and I mean, I didn't need it, but I wanted to just, you know, all the time and the work that they put in, I wanted to just ask and be polite about it. So let's jump into this. All right. If you're new to the channel, I'm Crypto Sensei. We do hella cool shit around here with crypto. If you like the channel, please think about subscribing or liking or sharing, whatever. Let's do it. Let's get into it. So the first thing is Paramount Pictures. I like Paramount Pictures. I'm subscribed to Paramount Plus. It's an okay streaming service. It has some cool stuff on it, but Paramount Pictures, the 5th oldest film studio in the world, was the first major studio to use decentralized GPUs to render frames for a major motion picture, which is Star Trek in 4K re-render. Okay. Deadmau5. Techno music is my favorite. I love techno music. I've listened to techno music since I was like 12 or 13. And this was like before Tiesto, right? So check it out. Deadmau5, a multi-award winning DJ and house producer, used Render Network for the official music video of the Pomegranate Feet, the Neptunes. Awesome. Bungie, right? If you've seen Halo, right? There's a new season coming out in February. I actually just watched the first season again because I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget anything. But Bungie, the game studio, has created Halo and Destiny, created their new game trailer for Marathon using the Render Network. The new trailer had over 18 million views in the first week. That is dope. That's pretty cool. Lil Nas. Cool. Lil Nas is an American rapper who created the song that spent 19 weeks as the #1 on the US Billboard Top 10 chart, made visuals from his Long Live Montero tour debut with the Render Network. That's pretty fly. Beeple. Beeple sold a piece of artwork for $69 million at Christie's, positioning him among the top 3 most valuable living artists. Beeple is a heavy user of the Render Network for his work. That is really freaking awesome. PUBG. PUBG is a game that has accumulated $13 billion in worldwide revenue. PUBG Season 9 brand identity video was entirely rendered on the Render Network. Also, if you've watched Ranu Naidu on Netflix, Ranu Naidu, the Indian adaptation of the hit show Ray Donovan for Netflix India, has had all the rendering done on the Render Network on a MacBook Pro. That's really cool, man. I love Ray Donovan. Actually, I haven't checked the show out, but I might do it now because of that. Star Trek, the Roddenberry Archive, the life-size impressive Star Trek Enterprise was created with the render computing and streaming ecosystem. This prototype provides a window into the future of a spatial reality media powered by render. So here we go, and here we go. So render being used to do all kinds of dope stuff. AI Stable Diffusion. Stable Diffusion is an AI text and tool image. Stable Diffusion is now live on Render site, giving AI access to decentralization, GPU power. More LLMs are on the roadmap, and then also that's kind of finishing out that part of it. Let's talk about the cool vertical use cases for Render. So you got 3D digital art. Render users can leverage Otoy's Academy Award-winning suite of 3D capture and rendering streaming technologies, including integrations with an industry-leading 3D content creation tools. Example rendered by Zomax, right? So this is pretty cool looking. You got TV and movie CGI, which is awesome. The use of CGI is commonplace in movies and TV, making rendering technology very important for Hollywood. Okay. Otoy, the parent company of Render, has created Academy Award-winning technologies that will be used in almost every Marvel and Star Wars movie. I love Star Wars, right? I'm a big fan of Star Wars. I watch all the shows. I watch all the movies. I got a baby Yoda right there. Grogu. I have one on the bed for Luna. I mean, there's a Star Wars logo light there that you can't see. I'm a big fan, right? I got I got my little Disney, Mandalorian here. There's a bigger one. I paid $1,500 for the bigger one and the smaller one, but I left the bigger one in California when I was moving. But I was in Vegas. I felt like spending some money on some craziness. All right, let's keep going. Artificial intelligence, AI adoption has been exploding since ChatGPT emerged on the scene. The immense compute required to train AI models has only exacerbated the already short supply GPU market, making the render Airbnb for GPU compute model extremely valuable. This just keeps getting better and better. The metaverse, the place that we haven't yet been able to build to fit 1 million people into a concert. I know that we've said we've kind of done that, but is it really happening? Man, all right. Scaling GPU rendering enough for an over expanding metaverse is too difficult with traditional rendering technology. In addition, proof of ownership is enabled through NFTs and blockchain, making Render the ideal metaverse rendering solution. I really hope Render can bring a legitimate metaverse together. I know there's been a lot of companies that have tried and it just fell flat on their faces, right? I mean, I used to own some tokens back in 2021. It's like, we got the best metaverse being created and it was awful. You got in there and you're like, really? This is what you spent $10 million building? Anyways, scientific research. In physics, maths, neuroscience, and other sciences, researchers often need to render complex simulations. The speed and cost of the rendering network make it suitable than local infrastructure or centralized services, which is really cool, right? We need space and sciences. Spatial computing and AI, we did talk about this one already, so I don't really need to repeat this one, right? Holographic content, limitations in GPU cloud rendering, and technical limitations is distributing complex holographic works that have held back the growth of holographic media. Disney, HBO, Discovery are all invested in Otoy to build tools for the next generation of media. That is awesome. And then you got architecture, right? With scalable, decentralized rendering, architects can create immersive 3D visualizations and virtual reality renders of architectural designs. The global architectural services market is valued at more than $360 billion in 2022. And then you got automotive, right? Some of these cars that we want to buy with all of the money that we're going to make in crypto, right? I'm on a list to look at, like, Ferraris that come in. It's one of a Ferrari dealership in I think like LA or something like that, right? And I'm always like, man, one day, right? One day, but like, hey, if a decent invested in Render, if Render does go crazy, maybe have a little bit extra spending cash. So you got automotive 3D rendering is the automotive industry that helps designers and engineers visualize their ideas before physical models are made. Automotive 3D rendering is slated to grow over 20% CAGR, according to CMI. And then you also have medical, right? As I'm getting older, my body's falling apart, so this would be really good to have. 3D images can be rendered of body parts to help doctors diagnose medical problems. 3D rendering can also help create prosthetics as part of a repair damage to organs. So that is really cool. And then we have 10 brands connected to Render that'll blow your mind. What are these brands? We got Disney. All right. Otoy joined Disney Accelerator in 2016 to realize their holographic content platform. Otoy has joined Samsung and LG to invest in the Light Field Lab, who are creating advanced holographic systems. This is a big part of the Render roadmap. You got HBO, right? Man, a lot of good stuff on HBO. I really do like HBO. In 2016, HBO invested in Otoy to create a universal publishing platform for movies and TVs and original holographic and AR content. A part of Render roadmap, the opening scene for Last of Us on HBO. I watched that show. That show was dope. I really did. So they used Render to do this. That's pretty cool. Discovery has joined HBO and invested in Otoy to drive the development of holographic and AR content. Imagine Discovery Channel on Apple Vision Pro. Apple Vision Pro. Man, we're getting there, okay? This says, will Discovery VR app be on Apple Vision Pro? This is going to be pretty cool. Your loved ones are going to hate you. I would recommend, if you can afford it, buy two, right? Because if you just buy the one and you're using the one and your wife or your boyfriend or your husband or whatever it is, right? That other significant other or, your girlfriend, whatever it is, they might not be there when you take those goggles off, right? Because if you go in for 5-6 hours and you come out and like the house is empty, people have scattered, you got a problem, right? So maybe it's best to have two instead of one. Apple. The Render and Otoy team have been working closely with Apple engineers for many years. This is why the Provision Octane X, the software that gives artists direct access to the Render network, is built to support new M1s and M2 iPads, giving millions of artists access to Render. That is freaking awesome. NVIDIA, Jules Urbach, the founder of Render, has a close relationship with Jensen Huang, CEO of NVIDIA. Jules has spoken to him multiple times at events. The Render and Otoy teams have been working closely with the NVIDIA Omniverse team. Huge. Google. In 2020, Google launched their own GPU nodes on Render. That is a big deal. Here's the announcement. Microsoft has also added their own GPU nodes on Render. Paramount Pictures, we did talk about this, right? We did talk about this. UFC. Ari Emanuel, the CEO of EGC and who owns the UFC, is an advisor to Render Network. Ari, I am driving media to go through the token network. Holographic UFC fights powered by Render. That's pretty cool. And then the WWE. Oh yeah, right? I used to watch wrestling as a kid. Don't watch it too much anymore, but I know there's millions of you out there that absolutely love wrestling. So here's a pretty cool thing for you. EGH is also the owner of WWE. Here is what Ari said after the meeting Jules for the first time. A month after meeting him, I offered him $1 million. Ariel Manuel in 2017, the CEO of EGC, owner of the UFC and WWE, speaking about Jules Urbach, founder of Otoy and Render. Take my money and shut up, please. All right, here's 10 people affiliated with Render that will impress you, that your brain will explode. All right, so you got J.J. Abrams, right? J.J. Abrams directed The Force Awakens, the 5th highest grossing movie of all time. Huge. And also, you got Star Trek, Cloverfield, Mission Impossible 3, right? JJ is a bad robot, right? So he has this little robot running through the field, right? It says, bad robot. You know what I'm talking about? All right, so Brandon Aylock, creator of JavaScript programming language, CEO of Brave Browser, co-founder of Mozilla Firefox, which I use every day, founder of Basic Attention Token, advisor to Render. Say what? All right, and then you have Ari Emanuel. We went over that already. We have the Beeple connection. We did talk about that. Jennifer Zhu Scott, chairwoman at the WEF, the World Economic Forum, Fortune's China's most influential businesswoman of China in 2021. Damn. Advisor to Render. That's cool. Samuel J. Palmisano. I might have said that wrong. Ex-chairman, president of CEO of IBM, advisor to Otoy. And then you have Eric Schmidt, ex-CEO of Google, is an advisor to Otoy, right? Demian Breener, CEO and founder of Open Zeppelin, advisor to Render. You have Richard G. Karras, VP of the Omniverse at NVIDIA, advisor to Otoy. And then you have Jules Urbach, founder of Otoy and Render, right? Dope. And then 10 bullishly insane things on the roadmap. Let's talk about this and we'll end here. Render is implementing a burn mint equilibrium model, meaning Render tokens need to be burnt to use the network. Tokens are also minted each epoch to paid node operators, right? So you have to have that give and that take in when you're burning tokens to use the network. That's going to be really good, and that hopefully will help us, go up in price here. GPUs are already in short supply, while emerging tech like AI, holographic systems, and spiritual computing require increasingly amounts of compute. Demand for Render will therefore grow exponentially, causing the Render burn rate to grow exponentially. And then, here's like a little graph here. You can pause this and take a look at it if you want. Artificial intelligence training AI models is extremely compute intensive and has contributed to the global shortage of GPUs. Stable Diffusion is already live on the Render site. The team aims to implement 3 or more LLMs by the end of the year. That's awesome. And this is in 2023, so that's probably already happened. You have Apple device nodes, which we've already discussed and talked about. Live streaming adds an entirely new world to Render use cases compared to pre-computation, metaverse, gaming, XR streaming being a few examples. Scaling GPU rendering is enough for an expanding metaverse to be difficult for traditional technology. Public SDK. An SDK is a software development kit, allows software developers to integrate their own apps and can access the Render network for compute. As the use cases for Render network expand over time, the SDKs that supported things like machine learning could explode on demand. You have the Solana migration. For real-time rendered interactive holographic streams, speed and cost will be extremely important. Solana's blockchain provides a very high transaction throughput at a very low cost, while Rust provides extra speed and flexibility. This is going to be big, my friends. I mean, when you have Solana is the 6th biggest blockchain in the world, I do think you're going to see Solana in like the number 3 or 4 position here very soon. I think you're going to see a $400 to $500 Solana in this next bull market. Could even go higher personally. I think it's going to be on. And then you have spatial computing and AR. We did talk about this one, so I won't won't go over that one too much. Integrating AI tools. One unique benefit that Render Network has is that it is complemented by a whole suite of marketing leading Academy Award-winning tools built by parent company Otoy. The Otoy roadmap includes integrating AI tools into its interfaces and its processing, right? And you have holographic content. We did talk about this already with the connections with, you know, HBO, Disney, and Discovery. And then they also have a grant program. The Render Foundation has embarked in a portion of its treasury to support and fund infrastructure and services that will help drive network growth. To apply, click here. All right. And I mean, wow, you know, and then there's also this update for antbit.io. The team is originally building on low latency trading systems, but compute costs are too hectic, costing over 100K a month. They realize this is a problem and needs to be solved. Ahmed, the CTO founder, previously also contributed work into the Ethereum Foundation. Latency, talks about latency. I'm not going to go through all these. I mean, we've gone through a lot of this stuff. I will include all of these links below, guys, and I want you to take some time and take a look at this yourself, because this is really interesting. And I wanted to thank Rendoshi Takamoto one more time for putting this thread together. He or she did amazing work. I don't know if it's a he or she. I think it's a he, but they did amazing work, and I really appreciate it. It was fun to go through this with you, and it was very enjoyable. If you made it to the end, if you really like this video, please feel free to like the video and share it with a friend. I'm buying more Render. I've been telling my community in Cryptonairz I've been buying more Render, and it was before I knew all of this. I knew some of this, but I didn't know all of this, and it's making me even more bullish on Render's future. Can we get to $50? Can we get to $100? Well, they sure have the partnerships. They sure have the technology. They sure have the AI, right? And the rendering. They have the use cases. They have what's really the hot button right now. When you're talking about AI, you're having all of these systems being built out. You're having all of these big GPU farms being built out, right? This is where we are heading. And there's trillions and trillions of dollars that are going to go into this space. And if we get a fraction of those trillions just into the Render token, well, that could change all of our lives. I'll see you next time. Aloha.